First off, the Rook. What is the Rook? You're seeing it on the screen now. Jonathan's putting it up. From my old days in transportation, to me it looks like a Bobcat on steroids. It is a very versatile piece of police equipment. And the Jersey City PD would like to purchase it. It is on to Wednesday's council meeting. It'll be a topic there. It'll be on the agenda. The PD purchase has become a real issue last week about buying this Rook. Of course, about $400,000. Some of the bloggers and the activists in Jersey City, their heads exploded because it was $400,000. I wish Jersey City didn't need a piece of equipment like that. But you know what? It's real world, and we do need a piece of equipment like that. And in the big picture of things, and you hate to keep saying the big picture because the budget's like $600 million. What's $400,000? It's not very expensive, but it can save a cop's life. It could save a resident's life in Jersey City. And if that's on the table, we have to do all we can to protect our PD because they protect us. They are our first line of defense. The Rook, it's a very impressive looking piece of machinery. The Rook would have come in really handy at the kosher market a couple of years ago on MLK Drive. Remember that? The Rook would have come in really handy if we had that going back a few years past that to Reed Street. It would have come in really handy to have that. It's a very versatile piece of equipment. You have I'm not sure what John's showing you. You got the big shield where we can put about 4 cops behind this shield, and it can go forward. It can be used to remove obstacles that may be planted there, damaged cars, whatever the case is, because it has the ability to be a forklift. It is a very versatile, transformable piece of equipment. And I can see why the JCPD wants it, especially since we're not that far removed from what happened on MLK Drive a few years back with that kosher market. This piece of equipment would have come in very handy. Now, in a world where shared services is the buzzword for the last 5 years, we don't do a lot of it. But, when Murphy came in, everything was shared services. We're going to kind of condense municipalities and districts. They didn't do a lot of that. I think we condensed 2 municipalities. But the JCPD and all the Hudson County PDs were kind of way ahead of everybody in shared services. When there is an issue facing any of these municipalities, they get on the radio and they call JCPD. JCPD will respond to Bayonne, North Bergen, Union City, wherever. Wherever there is a need for law enforcement, Jersey City will respond. So Jersey City buys the Rook. It's the biggest city in the county. It's got the largest budget. Probably, I'm a Jersey City guy, so I'm going to lean towards the Jersey City Police. Think of finest police department in Hudson County. It's in the argument. If it isn't, it's certainly in the argument. You got North Bergen's pretty good there. You got the guys in Hoboken, a lot of good PD. We're very fortunate that way in Hudson County. And don't forget, Frank and his sheriff's department, very good there. That piece of equipment, it'll be a SWAT piece of equipment, of course. It can be used all through the county. Now, should all the municipalities in the county throw some money? Fine, if that could be done. But no matter how it is done, I think the JCPD needs that piece of equipment. Because, and I responded to one of the tweets last week about purchasing this piece of equipment, and one of the attitudes was, well, do we really need a piece of equipment that may come in handy every decade? Well, there's always the argument when you're in the civic world, well, if it saves one life or if it saves this one, it's worth doing. If we're going to worry about purchasing a piece of equipment that we may and hopefully may only need every decade or so, if we're going to use that kind of mentality of that particular responder on Twitter, then why are we going through all these efforts with, protecting from another Sandy storm? Because we had nothing like that since. Are we over? I always felt we were overreacting to the 100-year storm. We have nothing close to it again. But I understand why the municipalities, especially along the ocean there, are doing all they can, and the Hudson River, doing all they can not to have another Sandy situation. Bottom line is, let's protect our PD, and in the process, we're protecting the residents of Jersey City and through Jersey City PD has been shared services long before anybody else, protecting all the people of Hudson County. It's a good deal, in my opinion.